Absolutely. We are joined now by our 2012 NASCAR Sprint Cup Series champion and no stranger here to the media center at Homestead-Miami Speedway, Brad Keselowski. Brad, what's it mean for you to come back to the place where you won your championship? Does it bring back any memories for you, pleasant memories of that evening?
Sure does. This media center does, that's for sure. It's a great place, but we're glad to be back here and, of course, you know, testing and doing all those things to prepare for the race coming up here. I guess, what is it, about a month away, a little over a month away. And I think we should be really good coming back here. But this is, you know, as Carl was saying, a great track, a fun atmosphere, and a fun place to finish up our season. So it's also kind of bittersweet when you come here because you know it's the end of the season. It kind of feels like when I was much younger and it was the last day of school. But still looking forward to this weekend.
Good deal. We'll open the floor to questions, and we'll just work the microphone around the room.
Brad, Chris Green, South Dade News Leader. You've had success here in Xfinity, and you've run here pretty much every time in any car you've gotten in. What would it feel to cap off the season with a victory at Homestead-Miami Speedway?
Well, with the way the format is right now, a win would be, you know, obviously pretty huge if you can time it right with the format. But to win here, if you're not still eligible for the championship, would kind of feel like a waste. So, you know, I think this is a track we've been really close at winning at. The last two races here, we've been up front. I think we finished third both times. So I think we're going to have a really good shot at winning coming back. This test helps. And we need to find a little bit more speed here. So I'm looking forward to hopefully being able to do just that.
Hi, Brad. Holly
Holly.
Kane. How are you?
Good to see you.
Good to be here. Thank you. I wanted to ask you two questions. The first one is kind of what you are working on here, and along the lines with that, this is right in the middle of the chase. What is it like? You know, I'm sure you have, you know, a lot of attention on a lot of different areas.
Sure. As far as what we're working on, you know, the cars, it's always complicated to explain a stock car to people because the cars are not very stock. So we're always working on them, always developing them, and we come up with things that we think are better. And we try to validate them on track, you know. So we put them through all these tests that we have, you know, engineering tests with all these fancy computer simulation tools that try to tell us whether it's going to work or not work. And we get pretty confident that it's going to work, but of course we always like to kind of backstop check it, and the racetrack gives us that ability. So I think we're going through a lot of things that we've been doing to our car and kind of, you know, with the proper implementation of all these cool gizmos to check things that you're allowed to use during testing and not during the race weekend, going through and just kind of validating parts and pieces.
And my second question has to do with Talladega. And you've had a lot of success at Talladega. So I know that this week is going to be, you know, a tough situation for you and you really need to fare well there. Do you kind of go in there feeling like, well, if I had to go someplace, this is a place I do feel going, or is it the old, you know, who knows what could happen there?
You know, I haven't honestly thought very much about it. You know, with being here, I took Monday and took kind of a day off and just kind of cleared my head. And we came here this morning, and all I thought about was how to be the fastest I can be at Homestead. And honestly, I can't tell you I put a lot of thought into Talladega. I want to do the best, and I want to live kind of day to day right now. I think that's important this time of year.
Brad, Chris Clark with NBC6 down here in Miami. I know you said you don't really think about it, but you were kind of in a similar spot, in basically the exact same spot in 2014, and you did. I think you won Talladega. So, what can you draw from that, if anything?
That it's possible. I think beyond that, you know, tactics change, cars change. You know, I'm certainly 2 years older, so I've probably changed in some ways too. But you know you can do it, and that's enough to give you some peace of mind.
What do you think has been the key to all your success there at Talladega and restrictor plate races?
Ooh, I think with any success at the Cup level, no matter what the track is, that there's usually not one key. You know, you have to do everything right, and you have to have a great team. You have to make the right moves. And those strategies and tactics change, and of course you're going to need a little bit of good fortune. So I don't think there's really one key. I think you know, that track I've been very fortunate to win at a handful of times, and every time I feel like there was probably one moment that was more important than another moment, and they're not shared between the races. So I don't think there's one key.
Obviously, there's nothing you can do about it now, but there's always that sense when you're in the chase and there's points involved that sometimes you can play it safe as being more aggressive. But you're a driver, and all you know is racing to win. So how do you look back at last week? How do you change how you approach everything?
I haven't really looked back. I've been trying to look out the windshield, I guess, so to speak, not out the mirror.
Roxanne Vargas, also with NBC6 in Miami. Total non-technical question. Just want to know
Thank
about.
you, Roxanne.
You got it. Just the community that I'm catering to, that I'm talking to, the families. Coming out here with the kids, taking a taste of what you take a taste of all the time when you're on the track. Talk to me about this being, an event for everybody to come out and enjoy together.
Yeah, it's one of the things that I think makes NASCAR and motorsports kind of fun to me. Is it has more of a family environment, and when I look at what that means, it means I grew up in the sport with my dad, watching him race at the participant level. But I think you also look at it from the fan level. I know I have a lot of fans that can say the same, that they came to their first race with their dad, and they keep coming back, whether that's camping across the street or buying a ticket up in the stands and enjoying the race weekend that way. There's always been a really strong family element to the sport, and I really like how NASCAR has added in some of their kid-friendly packages with the Xfinity and Truck Series races where kids can get in for free. So I think there's an environment here that's very much conducive to bringing a family, more so than probably any other sport.
You, as athletes, you're all just so cool and down to earth. And the only other sport that comes into my head right now, maybe golf, that the proximity that we have to the athletes. I mean, kids have posters of you guys up in their walls. So the fact that we can get, if we have the right passes, obviously as close to you as we can. I can't think of another sport where we have that type of proximity, that access to the athletes.
There's a lot of access in motorsports, and it's always been one of our sports strengths for sure. Thank you.